It is thought that comprises the mind. And all vrittis are either positive or negative, up or down. When you're excited, even when you're doing wonderful things, that's also a vritti, but it's a good vritti from our point of view. Bad vritti, negative vritti, that which takes us away from our true self, anger, fear, all these are, according to us, negative vrittis. So if you examine, every thought has one of these elements, somewhere or the other. There is desire, or there is despair, or there is hatred. You see that what you hate may be different from what I hate, but hatred, yes. What I love may be different from what you, but love, it's there. I can't say no, it is there in some form or the other. You may be angry with something. Practitioners of Reiki may be angry with me, but I may be angry about something else that nobody is listening. But anger is a common factor, right? Not the object or the reason, but anger. Why? Because it is vritti, it is thought. It's because of this that the mind exists, actually. What we need is to go beyond this mind, which is made up of thoughts. So wait a minute. We all know, at least most of us know, that thought is created by the brain. When you have a deep coma, there is no thought going on. If you don't eat for many days, your brain becomes weak, you cannot think. Sankhya says that the subtlest part of the food that you eat goes to form the mind. Here they're talking about the brain, because if the mind is not a material object, the food cannot affect it. It's the brain. So the world we live in, although we like to call it the world of our mind, it is the world of our brain. We are asking, perhaps there is a mind which is not interfered by thought that comes from the brain. Perhaps. Speculate. Is that so? If that is so, it comes into play, the true mind. When the so-called brain thoughts, which are most of our vrittis, have settled down, or gone, or wiped out. Then what remains, according to Sankhya and Yoga, and according to those who have gone through and understood this a little bit at least, that mind, which is totally uninterfered by the vrittis, which means by the brain, with its likes and dislikes, and so on and so forth, that mind is no longer the ordinary mind. Such a mind is so clear as a wiped clean mirror that it reflects only the Purusha, which is not part of the brain, which is beyond. And all our despairs and hates and desires, they're all part of the brain. So the question is there something that exists like that beyond the brain? You have to find out. How do we find out? When the vrittis are quietened, not even wiped out, even when they become quiet, you'll begin to register with something that is beyond. And it is speaking of this that the Upanishads declared, and manasa namanyute jana ahurmano matam, that alone is the truth which even the mind, here mind meaning the brain, cannot conceive of. That alone is the truth. I don't want to add the last statement of this Upanishad. Nedam yadidam upasate, nothing that you worship here. Let's stay away a little bit from the Advaita Vedanta in its pure form, time being. The whole practice of yoga, therefore, in its true essence, is to bring about this quietness of the mind, freed from brain thought, freed from lights, even if it is for 5 minutes. In the beginning, of course, it's not possible to stretch it. But once the mind itself begins to enjoy this calmness, the mind only will initiate the process of trying to make it longer. Once it tastes, it's still tasting it. It is the mind, it is the brain, but it would love to go to that state where there is nothing. When I say nothing, that something cannot be compared to anything that we know of by thought. That's why it's called nothing, not because it is nothing. Nothing is not nothing, it is no thing.